Hello everyone. My name is Muniba and I am from Pakistan. I am principal editor of Fourth Wave and today we are talking about misogyny in healthcare, the way women are treated in healthcare by everyone, I think. So first, I want everyone to introduce themselves. Then we are going to start our topic. The way women are treated in healthcare by everyone. So first, I want
Uh, I thought I turned
everyone
that
to
off.
introduce themselves. Then we are going to start our topic.
Okay, I think I got it. Sorry about my poor technical skills. I keep trying to
Okay.
fix a problem and I keep not succeeding. But anyway, my name is Patsy Ferguson. I'm the editor-in-chief of Fourth Wave, and we are a feminist, international feminist magazine on Medium with 57,000 followers. And we all contribute there. So I hope you'll look for us there because that's a platform where writers get paid, which we enjoy. Um, let's see. I'm very happy to be here, and thanks for hosting me.
Hi guys, I am Vanshika Gupta. I am from India and I am currently studying law. I am part of Fourth Wave as a writer and so glad to be here.
Thank you so much. We are waiting for more guests. I hope they show up. Okay, so last year my mother had chest pain and she was visiting me. She lives in another city. At the hospital, they said it was probably just gastric issue, but they called women more dramatic to pain. They are more dramatic, and this is according to some reports. And but I had insisted on test. When they finally checked properly, one of our arteries was blocked, and I kept thinking that this, if I had stayed quiet, we might have lost her. That it is very scary for me. And when I was pregnant, I had this I risked pregnancy because I have a large fibroid, and when I had stomach pain one day, and I rushed to the hospital. The nurse told me that I was being dramatic, but I still insisted and I told her that I am having this pain. I am having very much pain, and when they like checked me properly and they find out if I didn't show up, I might lost my daughter too. So my fibroid was um, I found out that my fibroid had doubled in size. So
Wow.
because yes, because of this, because we women are often called dramatic. This was very scary for me that I might lose my mother or I lost my daughter because of this system. So my first question is, have you ever had to fight to be taken seriously in hospital or clinics because you are women and people call women dramatic?
Um, so as you guys know that I have PCOD, and for people who don't know, PCOD stands for polycystic ovarian disease. Basically, it's a disease that causes your hormones to change, your periods to get irregular or very painful, and it can also cause infertility. if not treated on time or if not, taken precautions. Um, I kind of noticed the symptoms around 14 years of my age, and the first time when I went to a gynac, instead of checking me, instead of doing any tests, the first question she asks me is, do you think you might be pregnant, or should we do a pregnancy test? And the city that I come from and this country that I come from, asking a 14-year-old to get a pregnancy test done, it's a really big thing. Like, if
Yes.
people around my family, or if people around me gets to know this, in my reputation would be tarnished on a very big level. And just a 14-year-old entering a gynec clinic, instead of telling me, because PCOD is very common nowadays in Indian girls. It's like every four in one girl has PCOD. So instead of, telling me that, oh, this might be the case, the first question that pops up is, oh, you might be pregnant. And it was really, and she didn't treat me. She was like, you are just lying, and there's this scenario, so maybe you should start telling the truth, or just walk around a little and you will get your periods. So I think I have changed almost 3 to 4 gynacs, and none of them gave me the right solution, the right advice on how to treat my PCOD, up until recently that I came across one gynac, and the first question she says that, oh, there's this 20 tests that I have to do before I give you my further advice. The moment I enter into her clinic and I ask and I tell her that, oh, my periods are very irregular and it's very painful, she gives me a list of tests. And for the first time in my life, I was so happy that, oh, finally someone actually wants to see what's wrong in my body, and they just don't want to assume things. So I think that, and now recently I got all the tests done, and so in PCOD, what happens is that near your ovaries, some cysts forms, and I have way too many cysts like I have way too many cysts. But if it was diagnosed earlier when I was 14 only, then the cysts amount or the size would have been very small, and it would have been treated much easily. And now the treatment is really heavy on my body, and I am not able to function properly due to all the hormone imbalances that I am facing currently. So I think that's one thing that usually happens when you don't really take people seriously, women seriously, that, oh, we do know something is wrong with our body, we are not lying, we are not kidding.
Absolutely. And we're not being dramatic. I'm surprised um, that your that your doctor cited studies, Muniba, that said women are more dramatic about pain, because it seems to me that women can endure a lot of pain and
Yes.
do in their monthly cycles and in childbirth and etc. And so uh, I'm just surprised that they say there are studies that show that. I guess there are studies that show anything, because it doesn't seem true to me. Just this last week, we published a story on Fourth Wave by a woman who has endometriosis, and she was going to be here, but maybe she got mixed up about the time. I don't know, Demetra. Um, Gregorakis. But anyway, it took them 14 years to diagnose her because they just didn't believe her, they didn't follow up, they didn't make the right tests, and all the similar kinds of treatments that Vanchika described. Um, when I was personally thinking about this topic myself, I haven't had a disease that wasn't diagnosed. I don't believe I've been, but I have been ignored sometimes. The one time there was when I was pregnant with my third child, I went to an obstetrician, and he wanted me to take a test, amniocentesis, I forget how you say it, but anyway, it determines if you have a Down syndrome baby. And he wanted me to do that because my husband had a Down syndrome brother. But I said, no, I don't want to take it. My mother-in-law has told me it wasn't genetic. They found that out when he was born, and it endangers the pregnancy. And so, no. But he didn't want to accept my answer. Like it was his, like I didn't have control over my body. I didn't have control over my test. And so I ended up leaving him. But before I did that, he also did something inappropriate in the room, in the exam room. And that was, you go in there and they give you a blanket to put a paper covering for your
Mm-hmm.
private parts if they're going to look in there. And so you usually have that over when they're talking to you. And then when they get down to business, then maybe they'll take it off. But he wanted to talk to me, but he didn't. He had me take that off, and then he didn't give it back to me. So I was basically naked from the waist down, and I was very uncomfortable. And I was trying to assert my rights, and he was putting me in this position where I felt very vulnerable. And and the weird thing to me was afterwards, I didn't protest in the moment. I didn't have the fortitude to do that. Later, I wrote a letter, but I wanted it. I was afraid his secretary would see it and it would cast aspersions on him and somehow be. And I wanted to protect him, which was a very weird situation. And then from there, I have to say, I went to another obstetrician who also wanted to impose uh, his desires on me. So my mother died when I was young. I wanted my older sister in the room with me. She has been trained as a nurse, and I wanted her there. But he said, no, you can't have anyone there except your husband. And also, we're going to shave your pubic area. And I was like, no, I've had two babies already. You don't need to do that. I don't want that. And, again, he just wanted to tell me what was what, take it or leave it. So I left it. And finally, on my third obstetrician, I got someone who would listen, and he was great, and the birth was great, and everything went fine. But yeah, I've encountered that situation of not being heard, not being listened to, and it's really hard when the power differential is when you're in a lower position because the doctor knows everything. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
hard to insist. But I think we have to. We must, and we must learn how to do that.
Yes. This
I,
was, yes, Vanchika.
I was just mentioning that Patsy had the option to, change her doctor, but there will be certain women who don't really have the resources that they can, go around and change their doctors, or maybe someone who is providing at a very minimum amount, maybe they would go to that doctor, and if they overuse their power, the woman has to quietly, endure it. So I guess in a way we are privileged that we do have the option that if we are feeling uncomfortable or we think that this doctor is not right for us, we can, just change and go to somebody else. But there are many women who don't have that option, or many women who don't have medical insurance, so they have to stick with the government doctors. And if they are in India, usually government doctors are not that great. So many women has to stick with that only. So I think that's also something that taking the right of being heard, of being treated, medical, like being treated, having medical options is our fundamental right. That is not being fully used.
Yes, this is very true. And like you, Vanchika said, that I think, yes, we are very lucky to have these options, because in my article I mentioned that um someone was slept, someone slept her, and uh, she was giving birth, and when she like she screamed, and nurse slapped her and said that you don't scream, men will are going to hear. And this is very normal thing in South Asia, not only Pakistan, but also in India, in Bangladesh. I have like I had so many stories, because when I was pregnant and I was terrified, because of only this thing. So thankfully, my husband and everyone around me told me that please don't go to government hospital, choose private one. It is very like costly, but it is safe. But I hated to think this. Many women can't afford this. Many women. And this thing like hurts me. It is very scary for me to think about this. That time women is so vulnerable that they are like they can't do anything, and when people around her are screaming at her and they are slapping, or like it is like very scary. It is like, and what nurses are telling them, that man is going to hear your voice, that this is shameful for nurses. Like, I don't know what is going to, I don't know. So my other question was like, it was a mixture of this. So when I was pregnant, I called my baby Miracle Baby, because every doctor, I went to many doctors, and everyone said that you have large fibroid in my uterus, and so I can't become pregnant. So, but I did. During one visit, my gynecologist said that she is going to do transvaginal scan. I don't know, Vanishka, it's only for like married women. So transvaginal scan it is called. I don't know. So when they insert the probe in me, so my body was shocked, and it was very uncomfortable for me, and I was like very uncomfortable. But doctor literally laughed at me, and she said that if this is too much for you, how did you even get pregnant? And I was so ashamed. I was like what I'm doing here? Like, I was so embarrassed, because this was very magical moment for me. I just found out that I'm pregnant, and I was very happy, excited. And when she said this, and I was like, mm, was I was sweating and all. So yes, I think Patsy told us a story about her, that she felt shamed, or so. I want to ask Manishka, you, that have you ever felt shamed or mocked by a doctor, by a healthcare provider, when you were already feeling vulnerable?
I feel like at the age of 14, asking me if I am pregnant or not. And I went to that gynac with my grandmother, and I feel like we all can agree that the older females and generally in older people do have, they are not well equipped with the generation of now, and asking me that question in front of my grandmother that, oh, you could be pregnant. I think that was a very shameful act. Like, I remember coming back home crying for hours that how can she ask me this? I feel so humiliated. So I
Mhm.
think that would be the scenario. And Muniba, the tube you were, I don't know what it is called, but the tube that is insert,
Prob.
I think, sorry.
Yes, yes.
So I think in India now it has been the case, like, yeah, usually it happens with married women, but if somebody is sexually active and then they want to, get a checkup, I think then also it does get used. Yeah.
This is very good thing if they are using it, because in
Mhm.
Pakistan they don't. So if they are using it, because this is like something, yeah, when I don't know, I didn't know, I because in Pakistan they don't go to
Because
gynecologist.
I feel like I think ki generally unmarried girls won't go and talk to the gynac that, oh, we are, sexually active or something like that, because there's a lot of taboo around it.
Mhm.
That's why they don't generally use it. But um as far as I know, it's used for internal ultrasound. So if somebody wants to get a checkup, or if they require because they are sexually active, then it does get used. Although many gynec will say that, oh, we are not going to use it on unmarried girls, but if you go to somebody good who is professional, they will use it.
Mhm.
I think I think what you're referring to is what they call over here a speculum, and they put it in your vagina and then they open it up. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it is like we do ultrasound,
Mm-hmm.
like upper body, like on our tummy. But this is type of ultrasound, but it inserted in our vagina. Then it show bigger picture of vagina,
Oh,
like
I see. Uh-huh.
and womb and all the things inside us.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So it sounds like young women don't go to the gynecologist in Pakistan or India. Is that right?
Yes, because there are so many taboos around it. If you are
Mm-hmm.
going to gynecologist, you are pregnant.
Mm. Uh-huh. That's interesting. I
So
don't.
yes, and married women, only married women can have sex. So it
Yeah,
is
there's a
both
lot of
in
taboo.
Pakistan and India. Um, but I think it is very much in Pakistan because of Islamic law. And now Indians are, I think, because I research very much on South Asia, so I know very much about it, but I want to hear more about it, Vanchika. What you
Um,
want to
I
tell us?
feel in India, it is getting, progressed a lot that gynacs are not limited to married women, or usually earlier it was used to say that, oh, if you are talking about gynac, then you are talking about a doctor who helps with pregnancy and all.
Yes.
And they don't understand that gynac is someone who helps with, with women body, and that's the doctors for whole of the woman body. But people usually stay limited to the pregnancy and the reproduction aspect of it. But I think in India it's getting quite progressive, and um, generally, I would say college students who can afford, they are visiting regular gynacs, just for regular checkups and to see if if everything is good with their body or not. So at least in urban areas, I feel like I'm a college going student, my friends and I, although all of us have very bad gynec experiences, but I feel like all of us are visiting regularly to one or the other gynac to just get a regular checkup.
Yes, this is very good thing. In Pakistan, many like now I'm seeing many young girls are going to gynecologists, but um now where I am living, it is modern city of Pakistan. So, but where my mother is living, it is like more of like traditional or this time. So that's why here when I went to gynecologist, I saw many young girls there to checking herself, and I was very happy. Like it is very good news that people are educating their like young generation that gynecology is not about getting pregnant or having a baby. It's about your body. It's about the health of women's body. So yes, it is very good
Um,
news.
I
So
would say in India, young girls who are going alone, like they don't have to take their mothers or their elder sisters with them. I would say they are the ones who are actually taboo free, and they are actually, they don't have that restriction, like you are getting judged or something like that. But even me, I have to go to a gynec with my mother only. I'm not allowed to go alone. I'm like there needs to be a supervisor above my head to see what I'm having a conversation with the gynac about. Even though I would say like, yeah, I'm 18 plus, I should go alone. Like I don't need my mother to go with me. But I don't think if I tell my mother tomorrow that, oh, I'll go to the appointment on my own, she'll allow me. But I do see many young girls, of my age only coming alone to the gynacs, and I feel so proud of them that, oh my god, you are actually living my dream. You do have that freedom.
yes. So okay, my next question is it is kind of bold too because I don't know Vanchika can relate or not. If she heard some stories like this, I don't know. So, okay, before I got married, I had extremely painful periods that is very, very painful. And when I told first time to my mother, and she said that it is normal, periods are supposed to hurt. So I stayed quiet for years. And after marriage, one day I passed out because of pain. Like it was so extreme that, and when I went to doctor and they did all the examination and all that, they found that when I found out I had a very large fibroid causing heavy bleeding and pain. So doctor was kind of judging me. She was like, "Oh, so you never found out that you have this big fibroid?" And I said, "No. How can I?" So okay, so after this, there was one gynecologist, and she said that you have a large fibroid. Doesn't your husband complain about it? And I was like, about what? And she said that your fibroid is in a position that makes intimate relationship a bit uncomfortable for both of you. So I was shocked, and I was like, and I asked my husband that why don't you complain? And he said about what? And I said about this, and he was like, why your doctor is asking such questions? Don't
Uh-oh, we got a frozen Muniba. Uh-oh. Vanshika, maybe you can take it and hopefully she'll come unfreeze. But she did kind of, I don't know, do you have any thoughts on her story?
So I have heard this sentence that because I also complained a lot to my mother that I have very painful periods. So the answer that I get is, once you'll get married, these cramps will lessen.
She'll
And
probably
I'm
come
like,
back
what?
in.
Yeah. And I'm like, what's the relation between my periods and me getting married?
Hmm.
Like, I'm not sure if that's really a thing or that's just a thinking female in India have. But yeah, I have been told you won't feel the pain after you get married or something like that. So that's one thing. And um there's this influencer who talks about that she has a condition where anything being, oh, she's back.
I don't know.
Hi.
Uh,
Vanshika picked up the ball where do you want to continue your story or do you want to hear what she's telling us first?
We can
Muniba.
continue with Muniba.
okay. So, where was I? When I,
Your husband's reaction.
okay. So my husband said that don't go there again. And later that when I think about that, it was like my pain was nothing. My feeling were nothing. And uh, it all centered the man, that if he is feeling uncomfortable, if he is complaining. So, have you ever felt that your health was discussed in a way that centered men instead of you? So, this is my question. This was my question. So, I don't know. Vanchika.
But Vanshika, if you would
Um,
continue what you were telling us, because it was very interesting, too, and
yeah.
it she go ahead. And maybe you could recap for Muniba.
I was
Yes.
So, what I was saying that there's this one sentence that I've heard from my mother. That's the like I complain a lot about painful periods. So she says once you'll get married, those cramps will go away or you'll feel very less pain.
Yes, yes.
So I don't understand the relation. I feel it is something related to being sexually active, but I still don't know why she says this. So
So,
that's one thing. And there's this there's this influencer. So she has a condition where um I think nothing can be inserted in her vagina because I exactly don't know what that condition is, but what she keeps on saying that for her being in a relationship with a man is really difficult because she can't get intimate with them because the flaps, I think the flaps or something like that is really small, so that it gets really uncomfortable and painful for her to get sexually active. And so she has a lot of problem in coming in relationships, and people have suggested her that, oh, you should change your sexuality and no man would be with you. And I'm like, if she wants, I'm sure there will be some medical, solution for that. And even if there's no medical solution for it, you can't really just go and tell her to change her sexuality. That's not going to get changed.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like a I personally don't have an experience where um men's uncomfortableness or men's comfort has been chosen over women. But I think that's this experience that I've heard about online.
I haven't really had that because I do go by myself, and I pretty much manage my gynecological needs by myself. But mm, I've been having some thoughts while we've been talking. They're not completely on topic, but just one thing is I really liked having my husband in the room when I was giving birth. And I think that that's something I wish women across the world could have. Or also my sister. That was really important to me. Instead of being alone with strangers who have authority over you, which is a very vulnerable position, to have someone there who loves you and will protect you against them if they mistreat you and will make sure you're as comfortable as you can be, I think is very important. And honestly, if a doctor had said that to me, Muniba, what she said to you, I wouldn't have been insulted or ashamed. I guess because sex is more socially acceptable or whatever, we can talk about it, less taboo. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone said, "Doesn't your husband complain because you have a big fibroid in your vagina?" I wouldn't have felt insulted. I would have just said yes or no, because I'm trying to find out how to fix that problem, whatever the problem is. And maybe she needs more information. I don't know. Maybe it was intrusive. Maybe it was invasive, but it didn't sound that way to me. And what else? Just just various. It's interesting that depending on the culture you're raised in, you have completely different reactions to scenarios. And
Yes, it was that question that how can you be pregnant if you don't handle this, that made me ashamed, but that uh, and it was uncomfortable. This was like not, I was not ashamed of it, but I was like surprised. I was more surprised because he never complained. And I want her to said that to me, that uh, didn't you feel uncomfortable because it was my body, because I was feeling pain, because if it was uncomfortable for him, it was more uncomfortable for me because of this, because I have fibroids. So my pain should not centered man, like is comfort.
mm-hmm,
I want her to say that you are not you uncomfortable having this. So the question was very, like, it was not nice for me, that why this is my body. First ask me, then about him.
mm-hmm.
So like this.
Yeah. And
And
act
yeah, yeah.
what just her saying, how did you get pregnant if this is uncomfortable? That does sound inappropriate because it kind of sexualizes her
Yes,
procedure, right? She's comparing it,
yes,
and that's not appropriate, right?
yes.
That did sound like,
Um, my mother had a similar incident where, due to this ultrasound, she cried because it was really painful, and the doctor passed a similar comment. And if you see the size of it on Google, it's huge. It's really huge. I feel like it's almost 10 inches or something. It is really painful. Like, just by looking at that picture, I was like, I am never going to a gynac in future. Because someday or the other, it is going to get used. So that's a completely natural reaction. And also, I feel like when the question was asked about Muniba's husband, Firstly, the tone of it, and secondly, I feel like because in South Asia, in India, in Pakistan, the relations between the husband and the wife or the sexual activity, they are not really openly discussed. And to pass a comment on that, to, put your own opinion or making your own judgment about it, that's uncomfortable in their own skin. Like, if somebody passes comment, they don't know nothing, because it is very a hush hush topic. So I feel that's why maybe Muniba must have, felt uncomfortable or angry, and that's totally valid. That instead of asking about her, they are talking about the comforts of her husband. So, you know, here, even though let's say that the doctor didn't have the, intention, let's assume that the doctor didn't have the um like the doctor didn't wanted to discriminate Muniba, or make her feel that your pain is little less important. But I feel like it just naturally comes to them that, oh, she's a female, her pain or her discomfort doesn't matter, we should think about the husband. Because enduring pain and all this is a woman's duty. As a wife, it's your duty to endure a little pain, but your husband, he should not feel discomfort a little. So that comes naturally to them that, oh, it's okay if you are feeling a little, you must adjust, or it's okay, be quiet, just endure it a little. That comes naturally to them.
Yes, this was the original thing. So, other thing that I was now thinking about, that when I found out that I have fibroid, and many doctors said that no, I'm not getting pregnant. So, and they were not allowing me to do a surgery on my fibroid, because they don't want, they said that it might damage my uterus. So if there are tiny chances of being pregnant, it will be all like removed. So my husband said that I don't want children, I want her. So please do surgery if it is safe for her. So, but I said no, I don't want to. I want to try for a year. If I don't get pregnant, then okay, surgery. So I got pregnant and all. So, but when I went to every gynecologist, all of them said to me that try, why don't you are married 2 years, you didn't try to have a baby? And I said no, we don't plan it yet. Why? Because for them only children and only pregnant women were big deal. So, but I think women health in healthcare system is nothing compared to man health. If there was anything that damaged men in any way, they will try to do anything to save him. I think so. But when it comes to women health, they choose first the offspring of the man. And recently there was a very beautiful TikToker, and she was like 4 feet, and she was like small, what we said, not like short-heighted, and she got married and she got pregnant and had 2 babies when she got pregnant. But when they were doing surgery, they said that if we did C-section, there is chances that our uterus will be damaged. So they tried to do normal delivery, and it went normal delivery, but she died because of this. Because in future she, like, how can, I don't know what is the calculation here. If she don't have uterus, then her dying is more justifying, or like if she don't have children, then her dying is more okay. She's dead, it is okay, but if she don't have children, it is not, because she don't have offsprings, or because she don't have like future name of, we said that name of the family, then she must died. So I don't know, Patsy, if you can relate to this, but this is very normal thing in South Asia.
Very much so. I mean, when they took away woman's right to choose abortion in the United States, that was evidence of that, of saying a baby, a future baby who doesn't even exist yet, is more important than you, the woman who is carrying that baby, because and so that's central to that issue, the abortion issue. Those who talk about right to life uh, favor the baby over the woman. And we had a situation where a woman died, and they kept her on life support because she was pregnant. They wanted to get that baby out, and the family didn't want her kept on life support like an incubator. They wanted her taken off, but somehow the courts or somebody decided, no, we're going to just do this. So that was one of those, and I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about it because it takes a man and a woman to make a baby, but only the woman bears the consequences. So, and yet they tell her, you can't choose. You don't get to choose. If you're impregnated, you have to have the baby, even if it's going to make you poor, even if it threatens your health, even if it ruins your future because you can't afford a baby, or you're in school, or you're whatever. So yeah, it's definitely happens here in the US, um and it's disturbing because what that baby could be a woman. I mean, why is the baby more important than mother? I really don't get it. And back in historically, I think it wasn't that way. It's weird because they use religious justification. They try to say God wants the baby to live or whatever. But in Christian scripture, there's no mention of abortion. There's no prohibition against it. In fact, they used to leave babies out if they didn't want them, just kill them, and nobody arrested them or anything. And so it's really, in my opinion, just a disguise to control women and make them dependent. I don't think that the right wing really cares about babies. They certainly don't, because they don't provide free childcare. They don't provide free nutrition for pregnant women. They don't provide, welfare for poor families. So they don't really care about those babies. They just care about making women, limiting their options, making them dependent, disabling their ability to be independent. That's the way I see it. I have a lot of feelings on that topic.
Um, I have a question for both of you. Um, so I've heard that after giving birth, there are lots of feelings that a new mother feels, and sometimes that converts into depression or lots of anxiety. And certain families or doctors are really not supportive in that area. So, like, what has been your experience in that?
You, Muniba, since you're so recently a mother.
Yes, and it was I when I gave birth to her, that it was very like confusing moment for me because it was C-section. It was C-section, and when I come to my room after surgery, and I was still very like weak, and I was like, because my blood was very low, blood level was very low, so no one asked me about me. All of them were like, they were like somehow fighting and trying to give me a baby so I can breastfeed her. Like, and I was like so confused that what can I do? And everyone were like saying to me that, oh, you are already late. Do like hurry, breastfeed her. And I was like, oh, I am. Like when she breast, like she did, it was so like it was so uncomfortable feeling for me. I was like not I was like, why I'm not feeling love for her? Why I'm not feeling love for my baby? She is my baby. And it was so confusing for me. It was so shameful for me to said this thing, but I didn't send it to anyone. And after many days, like this was a feeling that I didn't feel many days. But when recently my niece died, and it was very painful experience for me. But and I don't know. And this thing I I was very far from there, and I couldn't go there. And it was very bad for me that I cannot give myself a very good bath, which I loved, because of my baby. She cried. She cries. Thankfully, not now, but she did. She had very bad colic and all this. So, at one moment when I was breastfeeding her, like I was so like it was kind of, it was feeling of vomit when I did. I just want her to go away from me. That I gave her to my husband, and I was like, it was very bad feeling for me. And when I told this to my mother and my mother-in-law, and she was like, what are you saying? Don't see this thing. Like, she's your baby, don't. And I was like, I will tell everyone that I feel like this. This is my feeling. This is very normal thing. I love my baby. I love her. I can't live a day without her, but I also feel I want to feel something for myself, and no one is supporting me. Like, okay, I can't tell this to my husband. He works very hard. He is like breadwinner of the our family. He is providing everything, and he tries to do very much. Like, he change our diapers. He want to make her sleep with her, like everything. But she's more dependent to me. But yes, these type of feelings come, and in our society, no one said anything about it. They said that this feeling, don't tell this feeling to anyone, don't ask help and everything. So yes, I never found help when I talk about myself. Like I don't. When I told my mother-in-law or my mother, they said that she's your baby. So it's okay if you're feeling like this. It will go away, but it was not that big thing. But many women recently found out that one woman died because of this. I don't know, because of caring for autistic baby for so long that she died because of this, because of no support. And yes, women are dying, they are doing suicides about because of this. And this is so painful thing, and no one is talking about this. And I don't know if in future, uh, I don't know if my sisters ever have a baby, my like small younger sister, I'm going to support her. I don't know. Because if my daughter, I don't want her to get married. I don't know, this is my feelings now. but but in future, if she should, I want to support her too. But this, I don't know.
Good question. That was a great question, Vanchika. But yeah, it's such a profound transformation from individual woman to mother, and suddenly you lose all your personality. You're only supposed to be about the baby now. And just yesterday, you were maybe whatever you were, a scientist, an artist, a teacher, a nurse, whatever. And now suddenly you're just mom. Mom is the big job. That's the main job. And it's hard to adapt. And you're right, people need to make room and to support the mother and understand those kinds of feelings that are natural, especially if you have a difficult baby. Because even an easy baby keeps you up all night, and not sleeping is
Mhm.
very
Yes.
difficult to deal with right there. Well, I see we're at 9:05, and so our hour is up. I want to thank you for coming, Vanchika, and for hosting Muniba. And we'll be back next week. I don't know what happened to our other participants, but hopefully we'll get some of them back next week.
Yes.
Um, and in the meantime, look for us on Medium. We've all written there fabulous stories. Very recently, I just read Vanchika's story about what it's like to live in Afghanistan for the women there. And I feel just horrible that we aren't able to change that situation of a huge human rights abuses for women in Afghanistan. And Muniba, you just wrote, I'm losing it right now. What was your last story about?
I did schedule now a very good story about the Olympic, um, Winter Olympics, and she was like, she did this skating when she was on her periods. It will
Oh,
be
okay.
live tomorrow.
Okay, we'll look for that tomorrow. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you so much for coming, and come back next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.